What's going on, guys? Anime One back here with another video, and today I'm here with a new what if Naruto was banished from his village. This is gonna be a very long series, so I hope you guys will enjoy it, and also it'll be titled The Mooneye. So let's get on with the video. It was a sunny day in the village hidden in the leaves. The streets were bursting with kids and the usual joy that lightened the atmosphere when a certain blonde wasn't taking his weekly stroll through the streets. It was like that. So that certain someone walked through the streets, the joy vanishes into the air. A new kind of feeling emerges through the streets with a demonic stare that threatens to devour one person and only one person. The beginning that had not been in this form and shape. The village had seen better days. The hatred, unbearable hatred, was birthed when the QB appeared in a cloud of smoke. When then a killing spree inside the village. It had been summoned by a mad Uchiha. The only thought was destruction, and destruction was that the Bijou dished out. Kono had never seen such strategy occurring in front of their eyes since the time it was found. The spoiled child that always had someone in big weapons and large shield to protect it was finally beaten up by the one being that couldn't be killed. In its early years, Konoha always had the likes of the first Hokage, the god of shinobi, the second Hokage, the god of water, the third Hokage, the professor, the god of shinobi, and also the fourth Hokage, hailed as the greatest hero of the village, the Yellow Flash. This was Konoha's first beating, and Konoha learned how to hate. They held on to the hatred for years, and it didn't seem as if they were going to let it go anytime soon. The world had turned against the fourth's wishes. Instead of celebrating in a young joy with a hero, Konoha labored hatred, troubled in thoughts of vengeance, yet powerless to do anything. They probably weren't like, who cares about a dead man thinks? The Yondaime Hokage is dead. They couldn't feel what they felt. In all his life, Naruto has always known that Konoha hates him. Aside from the love that his mother gave him, or that is what he thought, until one day, he came back home to see his mother lying in the ground in a pool of her own blood. Naruto knew who was his father, because Kushina had told him, but she didn't tell him about his godfather. And that was the reason why in the tuning exams, Jiraiya was able to train Naruto. Naruto, even after his mother's death, didn't give up. He still played pranks and screamed that he was gonna be Hokage of the village. He got in a team with his crush, Sakura, and his rival, Sasuke. For Naruto, finally he was starting to open up. He finally stopped hating himself until the day Sasuke had gone to Orochimaru for power. Naruto tried his best, but at last he couldn't bring back the Uchiha. That was the day when it all changed. Naruto opened his eyes to see the hospital roof, one he was way too familiar with. Those feelings of the past were coming up, the ones he thought that he had forgotten over. But after Sasuke left, those feelings, those fears, were coming up again. I guess this is how it's meant to be, he said, looking up at the ceiling beside him to see nothing. Why am I so surprised? It's always been like this. He knew he was all alone, but somewhere he didn't want to be alone. That was why he put on a mask of idiocy. A kid who was an idiot, screaming that he would be Hokage. That was just a mask. Naruto was soon discharged from the hospital. He was walking through the streets of Konoha. The villagers there were more colder than before. He even heard some comments that suggested that he was responsible for Sasuke's betrayal of Konoha. He ignored it and continued home. He was glad to see Sakura about a block ahead of him with her best friend, Ino Yamanaka. Naruto walked to them and greeted them. As he called out her name, she didn't even acknowledge him. And when he tried to stop her, she had a dead look in her eyes that indicated she was mad at him. He just smiled. "Hey Sakura," Naruto said. She responded, "What do you want, Naruto?" I looked down because of guilt, not fully fulfilling my promise. "Sakura, I'm sorry that I can't bring Sasuke back," he said. She responded with something that he never had expected. "Sorry? Sorry that you couldn't keep your promise?" "No, Naruto. I'm sorry for believing a dead last like you could bring Sasuke back." Naruto was shocked, taken back. "Sakura, I tried but..." "Tried? Yeah, right. You didn't try. Why would you try to save Sasuke? You knew I liked him, and I bet that you thought that if he was out of the picture, I would say yes to a date." "Sakura, that's enough. I tried to bring him back. Enough, Naruto. Get this through your head. I never liked you and never will," she said. That was a knife going through his heart. He never imagined this day would come again. Ino spoke in a defensive tone. "Sakura, I understand that you have feelings for Sasuke, but that's going too far. Even Naruto doesn't deserve that." Sakura glared at Ino. "Ino, this has nothing to do with you, so mind your own business." Ino glared back at the pink-haired Kunoichi. Naruto spoke once more. "You are also the same." Sakura looked at him. The first time in her life she saw Naruto looking at her with a blank expression. His eyes showed no emotion. She didn't know what those words meant back then, but now she understood them very well. After a week, knocking sound could be heard at the door of the Uzumaki, Naruto's house. Naruto opened his eyes and got up. As he opened the door, he saw an Anbu standing. "Uzumaki Naruto, you're called by the Council of Konoha," the Anbu said. Naruto looked at the man and nodded. The Anbu grabbed his shoulder as they both vanished in a swirl of leaves. In the council room, Naruto entered the council room with the Anbu. He looked around and saw all the clan heads and the three elders, the civilian council. He saw Tsunade sitting at the mill. "Uzumaki Naruto, do you know why you're summoned here?" she said. Naruto looked at her and shook his head. "I don't, Lady Hokage." Tsunade looked at him confused. His eyes were not as bright as they were before, and also, he didn't call her Granny. Something wasn't right. Tsunade was hesitating to say it. Danzo saw this and decided to speak for her. "Uzumaki Naruto, we saw traces of the Kyuubi's chakra at the Valley of the End, and your teammates almost died. Even after that, you couldn't bring back Sasuke Uchiha," he said. Naruto looked at him with narrow eyes. "Yes, the mission failed, but I wasn't the leader of the mission. If you want a report, go ask Shikamaru," Naruto said in a calm tone. Tsunade's eyes even narrowed even more. He was talking so calm, as this was not the same knuckle-headed ninja she knew. Danzo smirked. "Well, we already got the report. We have concluded that you can't control the power of the Kyuubi, and because of that, you are a threat to the village. And you are also the reason why Uchiha Sasuke left the village in the first place. You became too strong, and Uchiha was jealous of it, and he decided to leave the village." Naruto narrowed his eyes at the man. "Are you saying that a Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi, your greatest military asset, isn't allowed to get stronger just because of Sasuke gets jealous of it?" Naruto said. Danzo gritted his teeth. He knew the boy had said something that was logical, but he had an ace up his sleeve. He threw documents towards Naruto. "It's already too late. The Fire Daimyo has deemed you a threat to the village, and by his orders, you're banished from the Hidden Leaf," Danzo said with a smirk. Naruto grabbed the documents and started reading it. He put down the papers and nodded. "Very well. I'll leave the village till tomorrow morning. Anything else?" he said, which shocked everyone in the council room. He just agreed that easily. "Are you agreeing without any protest?" one of the civilian council members asked. He wanted to see the boy back to him. He wanted to see the demons suffer. Naruto looked at the man. "It's useless what I say. If the Fire Daimyo has banished me, I can't do anything about it. It's useless to argue, Naruto said, turning around. Only a few people saw the tears streaming down the boy's right eye. Nada didn't want him to go, but he couldn't do anything. He tried to argue with the daimyo, but Danzo somehow convinced the daimyo that Naruto was the demon. Even after she had given some logical arguments, the daimyo wouldn't budge, and he had to banish Naruto. There is nothing that they could do. That was what happened 8 years ago. Now the Akatsuki were taken care of. Uchiha Sasuke had returned to the village after it killed Itachi and Orochimaru, and right now, in the village hidden in the leaves, the sun shined upon the apartments of the raven-haired boy, Sasuke Uchiha. The last member of the famed Uchiha clan woke up from his slumber as the rays of the sun hit his eyes. This boy was the man who killed Itachi Uchiha and Orochimaru of the Sannin. Everyone in the village viewed him as a hero, but to Sasuke, he was nothing. He may have killed his brother for what you can see. When Itachi was about to die, he told Sasuke the truth about the Uchiha clan and told Sasuke to protect the village. And when Sasuke came back to the village, he was shocked to hear his blonde teammate was banished from the Hidden Leaf. The Akatsuki were taken care of when they dared to attack one of the four emperors. Now you might be wondering, what are the four emperors? Well, you'll get to know soon as the story progresses. Sasuke got off his bed as he heard a knock on his door. He opened to see his door to see his pink-haired teammate, Sakura Haruno. Seeing her made him smile. "Hey, Sakura," Sasuke said in his monotone voice. Sakura smiled at him before entering his apartment. "So how are things going, Sasuke?" she asked, before the Uchiha looked at her and spoke. "Well, the Anbu can be a little stressful, especially since we have an ally with Cloud and the Rock. I don't know what an alliance was made for, but I can tell you it's for something big," Sasuke said, making the girl sigh. "It's been 4 years since he came back and 8 years since he was banished." Hearing this, Sasuke stopped making the coffee that he was making. "Yeah, but we can't find him anywhere, even with Master Jiraiya's spy network," the Uchiha said as he turned around to look at the girl with a sad look on her face. Sasuke sighed as he poured the coffee in the cup for both of them. "And Sakura, so what do you think? The sand and mist didn't agree with the alliance," Sakura said as Sasuke placed the coffee on his table. Sasuke sat down with a calm look on his face as he took a sip of his coffee. "Well, if I had to take a guess, they're planning on taking down one of the four. All the nations know that by themselves they have no chance against the emperors." Sakura looked at Sasuke. "So you think we have a war coming?" she said. Sasuke nodded. The same thing happened in the Second Great Shinobi War. The three nations, Rock, Cloud, and Mist, allied to take down the Uzumaki clan. They were also a crew of an emperor. And even after that, half of the forces of the allied forces were wiped out. That just says how powerful they actually were. And not to mention, 2 of the Kages were killed in that battle. Sakura looked a little terrified by the thought. "You really think the war is gonna be that huge?" she said. Sasuke nodded. "The emperors are on a league of their own. I do think that I can take on them, but I'm not sure if I can win, if I'm being completely honest." "How did you come to this conclusion?" Sakura asked. Sasuke sighed. "Both me and Shikamaru think the same thing, but Tsunade won't tell us anything, so it's only a hunch," Sasuke said. A knocking sound could be heard again as Sasuke got up and opened the door, as he saw an Anbu standing there. "Captain, we have a mission, and Lady Hokage wants you to detail about the mission," the Anbu said as Sasuke nodded and looked at Sakura. They both nodded as it vanished in a swirl of leaves. 4 years ago from this point. 4 years ago in the Hidden Mist village. So guys, this is gonna be the fourth arc of this book. So, to explain everything that led up to the 8-year time skip point where the war is gonna happen, it's gonna take a long time. 7 to 8 chapters, maximum of 7 to 8 videos to explain everything that is happening, and also to explain what happens after Naruto leaves the village. That part is also going to take long, so this is going to be like a 3-part divided series. First is going to be the 4 years after Naruto's banished, then after that is going to be before the year Naruto was banished, and the final arc, the 8 years time skip thing, will be the war arc, be the final arc of the series. And as I said, this is gonna be a long series, so I hope you guys will enjoy it. So let's get on to the video. I'm rambling too much. In a hit and miss village, everything was at ruckus. Diagora, the third Mizukage, was a tyrant, someone who wanted nothing but pure destruction. He wanted to get rid of all the bloodlines, and this time it looked like he would. Mei Terumi, the leader of the rebellions, one of the few people who saw what of a tyrant Yagura really was trying to fend him off, and she had failed over the years. Yagura never really took them seriously, because it was obvious they were no threat to him. He was too powerful with the three-tailed turtle beside him, and he could control it all. And not to mention his huge army and the backing of an emperor. There was no way that they could win, even if they managed to get past Yagura. There was no way that they would beat Kaien, one of the 4 emperors. They were trapped, nowhere to go, but just continue fighting and die like a shinobi. That's the only thing they could do right now. In the hit and miss village. It's been a long time since I've been here, a figure said. Yeah, it has, a figure said beside her. The figure was none other than Zabuza Momochi, and the figure who was standing beside him was his wife, who had a huge bump in her stomach. It was obvious that she was pregnant. Ah, so this is your home, huh, Zabuza? Not bad, but I can't see anything, the man said. He was a very tall man, 6'2", with blonde hair and had glasses on. He was wearing a black tan pants and also a coat, but he was not wearing nothing under that, showing his bare chest. And he also had a crossbow. Don't be so rude, Yamamoto, a girl said. Her name was Mai. Mai was a very beautiful woman with blue hair and golden eyes. She had a very courageous figure that every guy would kill for. But my son, you cannot disagree with me. We thought that it would at least be more, better, Yamamoto said, crying anime tears. Mai sighed. You're such a child, Yamamoto-kun, she said. Yamamoto grinned. And I know you like it, he said. She blushed. Idiot, she said, looking away. What did you expect? A cold voice said. They all turned around and shivered. Chief, Yamamoto said, scratching the back of his head nervously. Yamamoto, what did you expect? We were here to free Zabuza's country from a civil war and kill Yagura. The chief of the group said, in a serious tone, looking at his subordinate. Yes, chief, but it's still a little disappointing. Naruto looked at Zabuza, ignoring Yamamoto's comments on the mist village. Zabuza, are you sure about this? Zabuza nodded. I am, chief. I am, he said. Naruto shook his head. Not about that. Are you sure you wanted to bring Kiyomi with you? Kiyomi stepped up. Appreciate your concern about me, chief, but I can handle myself. Zabuza also stepped up. Yes, she's my wife, chief, and she's about to give birth to my unborn child. I will make sure nothing bad happens to her Or my child, while we are here. Her intelligence and strategic mind is needed here. Without her, I don't think we'll win this, Zabuza said. Naruto sighed. Very well, if that's what you want to decide. But Chief, don't you think Zabuza's a little too relaxed about the situation? A voice said. Naruto looked back to see his left-hand man. Yes, I would not say that. It's his decision. Yuki, the chief said. But you gotta be kidding me. We are going at a war, Zabuza, not some fairy tale fucking show or anything. Zabuza's single-eyed twist in annoyance. You say that to my face after I killed all my classmates and you still think I don't know the horrors of war? Zabuza shouted at the man. The man shrugged. I'm not saying anything like that. All I'm saying is, you're too relaxed. I'm just saying you should have left Kiyomi-san behind, Yuki said, glaring at Zabuza. Zabuza also glared back at them. Enough, you two, the chief of the group said again. Both Zabuza and Yuki looked away. Sorry, Chief, they both said at the same time. Zabuza, once we enter the village, I presume you can take care of the rest. The chief said. Yes, Zabuza said, as they all entered the village, ready for whatever challenge was about to come their way.